Thank you, Girish. Thank you for that context and doing all the serious talk. I'm here now to do all the fun, right? So, what we're going to do is, see, when we go to events like this, typically what we end up doing is taking you through some serious presentation, right? Which talks about what we do and why we do what we do, right? Typically that's what it covers, right? We said, it's so normal, it's to essentially take you through, and it's so boring also sometimes, right? Why don't we give it a twist this time? The team came back with an idea that, listen, our brand ambassador is Mr. Bachchan. Why don't we have Mr. Bachchan essentially present to you? I said, how do you get Mr. Bachchan to present to the team here, right? And they said, no, sir, you do it. You do it on behalf of Mr. Bachchan. We'll give you some dialogues of Mr. Bachchan. You can kind of recite in front of the group here, right? And I said, Mr. Bachchan and me, right? Nor do I know how to act. How do I? He's a legend. I mean, with all that also, you could hardly, do what he does. But we said, let's give it a try. I hope you enjoy it, right? But before I go ahead, are you all up for it? Yes? Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Great. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to also in the process know what we do and why we do what we do. All right? Let's go. हाँ, रिश्ते में तो हम आपके बैंकर लगते हैं. नाम है IDFC First Bank, right? But sir, bank नहीं है. We are much more than a bank there. And I'm not going to tell you as to what we do. I'll have actually Mr. Bachchan telling you this. So I hope you got the message. You know why we say we are not just a bank, right? We are much more than a bank for this community, be it startups, innovators in this space, right? Incubators here. What is IDFC First Bank? And I'm not going to tell you as to when did we start and all that stuff, right? I'm going to tell you what are we trying to do here in IDFC First Bank. We're trying to build a world-class bank here in India, right? We're here to build a world-class bank here in India based on ethics, technology, and social good. And these are not mere words for us. We put our action behind these words. So when we say ethics, we do a whole lot of things, but give you an idea, in fact, when we started off our savings account, we said we're going to waive up charges on some 20-odd services, right? Which most banks charge you today for that, a simple checkbook charge or statement charge or something that you don't realize that's charged on your statement, but that gets charged to you, right? We said things that you don't understand, we're not going to charge you for the same, right? Okay. On the technology front, do you guys know that the IDFC First Bank app is rated 4 in the world? It's 4.9 on App Store 4.8 on App Store and 4.9 on Google Play Store, right? So that's the kind of rating that you're talking about when you're talking about technology. That's what we mean, right? The way you experience technology. In social good, there's so many things, including the grants that you see today that we do, including the loans that we do. One of the things that we do is amongst our borrowers, large part of our borrowers are actually first-time borrowers. Our first-time borrowers, right? All right. Yes, and we are a bank for innovation and for innovators like you here. And again, these are not mere words. Look at what's in front of you at this point, and I'll call out a couple of them, right? When we started a savings account, and one could say, what's there in the savings account? How much can you innovate in a savings account, right? But there are many opportunities of improving on a savings account. When we looked at the space and said, listen, why is interest being paid on savings account on a quarterly basis? And it's been there for all the time that we have existed. I'm sure all of us in this room never questioned that part. We looked at this and said, listen, we are an EMI bank. As I told you, large part of our customers pay us EMIs, right? If we're going to charge you payment, or we're going to ask you to pay on a monthly basis, we might as well give you interest on a monthly basis, right? Sense of equity. So that's the innovation that I'm talking about, and a whole lot of things I told you about the app and other things also, right? Credit cards. All of you have used credit cards? Any of you have ever revolved on credit card payment? Do you ever do that? Anybody? Yeah? Why don't you do that? Credit card is supposed to be a credit card, which means it's supposed to make a payment and use the credit if you need it. In India, credit cards are actually payment cards. Let's be honest about it, right? Why? Because you can't use the credit part of the credit card. If you do that, they actually take you to the jail. Just kidding. They actually charge you an interest, which is as bad as that. All right? So our credit card typically is a true credit card in the sense that the interest rate starts from 9% upwards, linked to your CIBIL score. So ideally, the credit part of credit card is actually personal loan to you. Ideally, that's what you should be charged, right? So small things, large things, big things that makes a difference, right, to your life. Innovation, as you all know it, as you all promote it with your startups, with your cohorts, right, is what we do as a bank as well. So this is the bank for innovators. Innovation तो है, and मैं और मेरा बैंक हमेशा startups की बातें क्या करते हैं, right? क्या बातें करते हैं? Let's समझते हैं. Okay. So this life cycle, all of you understand? Early to growth to mature life cycle, and one can come back and say, no, early growth, late growth, mature. I mean, there are many ways you can cut it, right? And people do cut it many ways. Yes or no? Yeah? But no bank has a single structure which helps a startup, right, across its life stages. One of the biggest problems in banks today is that banks live in islands. You have a retail bank, you have a commercial bank, and you have a corporate bank. And these structures have been created for traditional businesses. Because traditional businesses move across their life stages really slowly. And it does not matter to them beyond a point, right? Startups move across their life stages really quickly. And if that's the case, how can you have the same structure serve a segment that moves across the life stages where moving across one island to another island is like not possible? We have, as a bank, created a structure which helps startups move across life stages seamlessly through a single structure, single team. And we have products and solutions essentially to cater to each stage. All right. So we started about 3.5 years back. We're a young bank like most of your startups are. Very young bank, all right? We started about 3.5 years back. And as always, as the way it happens, you start last in the queue there. But as I speak today, हम जहाँ खड़े हैं वहीं से line शुरू होती है. Yeah? Let's see how. So 40% of unicorns and sunicorns actually bank with us. But that's not all. That's not all. That's what most banks do actually anyways, right? Most banks actually go to large customers, which is meatier on the end of the segment, and say, hey, you know what? I will give you a loan, I'll do blah, 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 whatever, right? We do that as well. But at the same time, we also help startups grow across their life stages. Look at some of these numbers, right? We have some 30,000 odd customers, startup customers at this point, the largest in the space. The largest in the space now, right? Look at this number, 34% of our startups actually coming from tier 2, tier 3. Our startup services are offered to customers not just from 5 key locations or 10 key locations. We have startup customers across 190 locations now. We work in a hub and spoke model where startup services is offered through all our branches. Or rather, I would say most of our branches, all right? So we don't look at, as I told you, we don't look at startups or the ecosystem or investors in isolation. We have a 360 view of this entire segment. And we see where we can kind of add value. We cover the entire, as I said, we are a horizontal across the bank. We have a 360 approach on the segment, which means whatever the segment needs, not just startups, not just investors, incubators, the entire ecosystem, what it needs is what's delivered through this team that you have, that you see here. And it's not just about banking, as I told you. Banking is only one part of it. We have something called a founder success program, if you see on my right, on my left here. When most banks talk about beyond banking is like getting some offers from some of these ERPs and HRMS companies, right? That's what beyond banking seems to me in India at least, right? Not so for us. We've created structures where the startups or the founders get mentorship, get help, get connections, right? At times get grants. And we don't directly do investments in startups, but we do it through VCs. So that's what we do, as in we take LP positions in a lot of these VCs. All right, for the startups at an early stage, as I told you, offering across their needs statements from a simple current account, which is free, pay-as-you-go current account, which means at an early stage you may not be earning any money, so I don't charge you any services. Even a service like a doorstep banking is free to startups, which costs us money. So it's a loss leader for us, so to speak. The whole idea is as you grow along, as you grow in your life stage, you will be able to pay for it, or startups will be able to pay for it, right? To a no-lien account, which is typically a grants account that every startup needs, from a working capital solution to a business credit card. And let me focus on a business credit card again. At an early stage, most startups don't get business credit card because it's not obviously a leverage play at that point, not a debt play at that point, right? Because debt can actually be a double-edged sword if you take it at that stage. So we give a secured credit card to begin with in an early stage, and with your payment records, we actually give you a top-up credit on the same. A very unique product, again, not with anybody else. And I spoke to you about the Founder Success Program as well. And we don't just stop at early stage. Obviously, as you grow along, the need statement changes. And the whole suite of products, including your co-creation opportunity for products along with it. And I'll show you some. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show and tell also some of these videos I'll show you as to what we do in this regard, right? So our Founder Success Program works across the spectrum from a very early stage when we have a program like Leap to Unicorn, which is a knowledge and connect program for early stage startups, right? To a startup lounge. Doesn't that sound counterintuitive? Typically, lounges are offered to people who have lots of money, isn't it? People who can pay for hotel lounges maybe are offered free lounges, correct? Not us. We offer these lounges to startups at an early stage. The whole idea is startup work out of their own places. And there's a beautiful lounge based out of Bangalore, heart of Bangalore in Koramangala that we have. So startups work out of those lounges whenever they need to have a team meeting. Startups actually come to our lounges to meet investors. A lot of traveling startups come and use it as a pit stop also. By the way, as we speak, we are on the verge of completing season 3 for Leap to Unicorn, where the startups have got shortlisted, and we just shot the episode where some of these guys actually raised money through investors, right? The episode should be coming in, should be aired sometimes in January now. First Wings Connect is actually a monthly platform that we have where we get our startups to essentially pitch to investors, raise money, and gain knowledge out of their wisdom. We also have a digital platform now where startups can get connected to investors on their own, right? By leaving a request on the digital platform, and we ensure, to the extent possible, connect all the startups to the investors. We work with a lot of investors here in this. Our ecosystem partners currently, and I'm sure there are many there who can become our ecosystem partners. All right, a lounge again, as I said. That's the show and tell part of our lounge. A unique program called First Symphony. As you scale, as you've got a product market validation, what you need from a corporate. We've been all speaking about industry linkages here in this room and how important they are. How do we play our role in that space? We essentially work with startups, a lot of these VCs, right? And get our entire senior management in a single room. Look at startups not just from their own banking perspective, but beyond as to how we can kind of co-create products with the startups, connect them to their potential customers, both business and consumers, right? Or maybe take it to other corporates that they want to get connected, whom you know.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.